the back porch there, I can see that trunk.
Was it
Sitting
that green
there.
trunk that we used to have around for a long time? One of those.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems it was kind of brown, but black with brownish wood or something.
Well, there's some of those things like that we threw away at some point. Oh, this is junk. Boy, I wish I would have kept some of those old, kind of solid trunk type things that now are probably go to an antique store. It's probably going to be a couple $100. But how was she filling it up? Was there a hose or was it?
The hose. So it's the only way I could think that.
Well, I was wondering if it was in a porch. I was wondering if she was just filling up a bucket and dumping it in bucket by bucket.
And that's-
That could be too.
She didn't want you to get married, you said? Or why was
Yeah,
she
I
feeling?
guess.
Well, if you saw him, wouldn't you do that? One of those rich blue ascot wearing Massachusetts guys, you know?
Oh.
What do they call those guys? Blue Bloods or something?
But all she used to see me in was a long overcoat that she used to laugh at because, I was in the service then,
Oh,
on
that's
uniform.
Those were terrible. Do they still have those?
Oh, no.
Oh, they were terrible looking.
What? Just
The
a belted
long
overcoat.
overcoats, the old
Belted overcoat?
olive green. I don't know if
And
they're
that-
belted, no,
That hang on down to
to your ankles.
halfway between your knee and your ankle.
I think we've seen pictures of you
Yeah.
with that on.
Was that right?
No,
Oh.
you
I
look
have
very
an
dapper,
overcoat,
very.
yeah, but when it's raining really bad, I have a pretty long overcoat that I wear occasionally.
Yeah,
But so what was that break? So you just out of high school? Is that when you sort of rode the train out to Hollywood or the bus? Something I remember.
No.
no, I was more like 20 or so.
Yeah.
My girlfriend Thelma and I,
Thelma.
Thelma Bon Meyer, B-A-H-N.
Admire. Yeah. Well, what did you guys do? Did you have a plot to go out there and just sit
I
at
don't
the
know, I
Larson's
just remember,
drugstore? or-
well, it's something that I
China?
always wanted to do, and I just said one day, I'm going to do it. And I guess she decided to go along. I can hardly remember now.
Didn't you go out in a car driven by somebody? Or
Yeah, that was real popular at the time, people driving their cars, and you could, go along for $50 or whatever.
Oh, they were
Scared
looking
to
for
death to do
riders?
something like that now.
Yeah.
you came home the same way too, did you?
Probably, yeah.
I remember you talking about
Well, I s-
riding with this, you and Selma riding with this guy, he was driving from your area out to California.
I think there were other people that went along, that just customers. But
Yeah.
And where'd
I
you
guess
go?
that was kind of like during the war or whatever, when,
Oh.
gas was rationed and
Okay.
trains were just carrying troops mostly and that type of thing.
Where'd you go when you got out there?
Where did we go? Los Angeles, I know, started, got a,
Like in a boarding house or something
yeah,
like that?
it was just a real nice house, somebody's house. And I remember in the back there was like a U-shape, rooms around
Oh.
it.
You could just rent them weekly or whatever,
I guess
monthly,
so,
daily,
yeah.
whatever.
Have pictures, all of that.
Yeah.
I guess, still out there in the garage somewhere
Hmm.
where we lived. And yeah, it was time of my life,
Yeah?
boy.
Did you work out there or just
Yeah, I
Kinda
had
look for
a job almost the next day.
really?
Superior Optical Company.
Doing just,
It's a bookkeeper mostly for
Bookkeeper.
them. Had bookkeeping machines, great big old machines, I remember. Yeah.
The memory I like to remember about that period was when I went home, I was stationed in this is after we met and we started
Yeah,
going
that's,
to-
yeah, what
Yeah.
we're talking about is long
Before,
before I met
yeah.
you, yeah.
But after we met and we're going out and I went home on a furlough. And I came back and I know we had to take another guy and I were traveling together. We had to travel from Chicago to Topeka, you know. So I got into Topeka and I got off the train. Now most of the people on the train were military guys, you know, transferring or on leave and what have you. And Betty came out to the alongside the tracks and she had on this outfit that I loved. I'd go wild though. You remember the one I'm talking about? The red was the red where you had a black blouse on underneath. But anyways, Betty strolls out on this dress like this, and all these guys in the train were going crazy, hanging out the window, you know, and here's old Ed just hiking along, you know, come to me, baby. And,
That was long before I met you, wasn't it?
No, no.
I don't know.
Because remember, you came down to meet me. That's why you were down at the train station, was to meet me.
Oh, I thought.
I was coming back
I thought I was on the train getting off.
No, I was on the train getting off, and you
Oh.
were down there to meet me coming back
And
from
where
the
was
furlough.
this, Topeka?
Topeka, yeah. And all these
You
guys
say
were
so.
hanging out the windows and out the doors.
Just like in the old movies, huh?
That was my favorite outfit
Oh, I
of yours.
still have that suit up there. It wasn't red, it was, I
Yeah,
guess you'd call it hot pink or
yeah,
Whoa.
fuchsia or,
yeah.
no, something, just
And
nice.
a black
nice pink
blouse.
wool.
Yeah, yeah.
It's still up in the closet.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, that's my favorite memory.
Favorite memory, huh?
Well, one of them.
So when you were in LA, weren't you there a few months out here? Out in
About
LA?
3 months.
Yeah, and then why'd you go back to Topeka?
Felt bad about my parents, thought they were missing me horribly and they didn't want me to go in the first place. I got back and then, oh, how come you didn't stay longer or something? I used to ride him every day for years. And,
And you were back.
yeah.
Once you got back, you just stayed back in Topeka and
Met that dude.
went to the USO dance. It was USO dance, right?
Yep.
Had a lot of fun in California for 3 months. I went to all the sightseeing things you could think of, and that's really great. Trip of my life.
They even had a lot of stuff back then, because that was probably, what year was that? You were 20, was that 44, 45?
Must have been.
I mean, you think back, you think now, I mean, there's no Disneyland, there wasn't Universal Studios, probably just, I don't know what attractions, La Brea Tar Pits?
I don't remember going there.
The Hollywood sign?
What?
The Hollywood sign? Did you, s-
The
did you see-
Hollywood what?
The Hollywood sign, was that there?
Oh,
You see
yeah,
that?
I think that was probably there.
Griffith Park Observatory,
Yeah,
something like
I
that.
can remember riding rented a horse and taking the trail or whatever. I can remember being up there in a steep mountain
Yeah,
on that horse, scared to death.
yeah, I mean, I think I've read about that, yeah, and a lot of
Yeah.
people, that's how they used to take them up some of those things, that area right around there. Because it's real steep, you know, all those hills there, so. Wow, horseback trails, and you probably went out to the beach probably, right, too, being from
Yeah, yeah.
the
it's,
Midwest. Do you remember what beach? Venice, Santa Monica, any of them jump out?
Long Beach strikes
Beach?
kind of a chord, I don't know.
That was probably more commercial at that time, because they probably had the port there, probably for the troops, so
Yeah.
there was probably a lot more action then. Venice and all that probably wasn't even much probably happening back then too much. You know?
And I don't know, she knew more about it than I did, because
Yeah,
we came in through Long Beach, and from Long Beach out to March, in Riverside.
Yeah.
and then back to the East Coast on it. So I never did.
What? You mean
And
that?
Grauman's Chinese Theater, and I was trying to think of some of the other places that you probably heard of or still around.
Yeah. I mean, Dad, so they used to bring you on, you came in on a ship to Long Beach,
Mm-hmm.
and they'd take you out of Norton, or to March Air
Yeah.
Force Base by
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
Bus
March.
or-
Yeah,
that was sort of what, like a redeployment area or
Yeah.
something?
yeah, because you had troops coming from all over. Because when we left India, we went to Australia because we had a bunch of Aussies, or Anzacs as they were called then, the Australian New Zealand Army Corps. These were guys, I got to meet some of them. These were guys I had so much respect for. They spent, I don't know, 4 or 5 years in Egypt. You know, that time Egypt was owned by England, or run by, and they would chase the German Rommel back and forth across North Africa. They'd chase him up 1,500 miles, and he'd turn around and chase him back to Egypt. And they were primarily Australian and New Zealanders. And so I got to meet some of them and became friendly with them. And I had so much respect for those guys. And they left a lot of them, they were just coming home for the first time in like 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
And that's where we went to Melbourne, and that's where they got off of the ship on it. And we were in Melbourne for, I don't know how long it was, but I got to go around Melbourne a lot and visit it. But then we came on back to Long Beach from there.
That was a long sail.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, going over, we left Virginia. Newport News, I guess. I can't think now where we got on board the ship on Virginia, but we went from Virginia and we stopped at Cape Town, South Africa on the tip. You know, you start about here and you come down to the tip of Africa.
Yeah, yeah.
We're at Cape Town, and we stopped there. For what reason, I don't know, maybe refuel or what have you. We were there for a number of days. Then from Cape Town, we went around up this way to Bombay, India, which is now,
Mumbai.
yeah,
Yeah,
changed
yeah.
the name of
Wow, I didn't know
Bombay.
you sailed, but I guess I was always thinking you'd sort of flown from West Coast, you know, West Coast Hawaii,
No,
and that hop. So you've sailed, wow.
around the world,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. Yeah, so by the time you got done, yeah, because you went India, Australia, and then back to
Yeah,
Long Beach, yeah, you end up going.
around the world, yeah. So,
What was it like on the ships? That must be
Oh,
long, miserable.
boring, because they were jam-packed, you know.
Yeah,
We were like 3 to 4 bunks high, if you can imagine, on board a ship on it. And I don't remember, I used to have to climb up second or third bunk on it at night to go to sleep on it, and it was pretty crowded. And,
God.
that was, it was funny how I became acquainted with quite a few foreign troops when I was over in India. 'Cause I was telling you about, because a lot of times we shared the same camp. We would share a British camp, because we were all in transit. It's just a matter of time. You'd go into a camp to wait to go to here, and then they were coming in from this way to go to someplace else. And I just remember one day I was doing my laundry, and I was over in India, and I was down there, and they had the clay sinks, and I was down there, you know, washing and stuff. And this Aussie came down and threw a bunch of clothes into the
Hello?
sink next to mine, you know, ran some water, picked them up, and I looked at him, because I've been sweating away
Oh,
with
yes.
soap, with this old GI soap that was just about to burn
Yes.
your hands. And he saw me looking at him, he said, "Just to get the smell out, Yank," and then squeeze mine off. Yeah. And the other night, we were in downtown Bombay and coming back to the camp, and we ran across
I'm not
New
interested, but
Zealand.
thank you for calling.
a soldier who had been out and drunk, and somebody had beat him up pretty bad on it. And I think about 3 of us on it, and he couldn't hardly move. So they had a lot of Aussie and New Zealand troops staying at the same English base that we were at. So we grabbed this guy because over there they used to have their Aussie club and the New Zealand club, you know, where they were members of their military would hang out and socialize. And so we grabbed, about 3 of us, we grabbed this guy because he was gone. And we went right by one of the New Zealand social club type thing. So we took him in there and you know, told the guy, hey, we found one of your buddies down the street, somebody had worked him over pretty good. And we just want to make sure he got back safe. And boy, we could do no wrong. We couldn't hardly get out of there. They go buying us drinks, you know, beer and all this stuff on it, because we had grabbed hold of one of their buddies and got him into their hands, you know, where he was safe on it. But that was funny type thing.
Gosh, you must,
Because they started making more over us than over the poor guy that had knots all over him. Yeah. And, but I would say I got pretty friendly with a lot of them, because I remember one time I was out in Bombay and
Are you
I
taking
met
that?
this English guy, and we were just standing there waiting, and we started talking back and forth. And so he asked me how long I'd been there, and I told him. And he said, "Are you finding a lot of things strange over here?" And I said, "Boy, I sure do." I said, "I can't use it. You get used to these people chewing betel nut. I don't know if you've ever seen anybody chew betel nut, but you know, it turns their mouth red. You know, they talk and all you see is red. Anytime they open the mouth, all you saw was." I said, "I can't understand these people." And he said, "Well, here, come on, I'll show you." And because they used to do it right on the street, they'd make up these betel nuts. So he went over and he paid out of his own pocket for this guy to show me how he makes betel nut.
What is it? I don't even
You
know.
know, there's some kind of ingredients and wrapped in a leaf, kind of leaf. Well, I guess betel nut. I guess it would got a betel nut on it. And you put it in your mouth and you chew it, and turn your mouth all red. And I don't know what it did to you internally, but you know, so something like that. And we spent about half a day together just socializing. I never saw him again, you know.
Yeah.
But so I got a chance to socialize quite a bit with him.
And that was like chewing tobacco or something, I guess.
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
Smile at the red
The only
smile.
other thing I remember is we were on a train headed up the back country of Assam, up on the Burma border, and we were sitting there in this train, and this British guy walked back and forth a couple times past me, and all of a sudden he stopped in front of me and he said, "You are the youngest Yank I've ever seen in my life over here."
Were you 17?
Well, I was 18 then.
Oh, 18.
Yeah. So, but you know, so I had a lot of interplay with foreign troops, and you know,
Yeah.
primarily English and Australia and New Zealand. They were good guys.
But you were in India and Burma, or, you know, close
Yeah.
to that, so you're in a foreign country with
Yeah.
other foreigners and.
Yeah, we used to have. We were up in the province of Assam, and we had a plane up there, and written on the side, it was a picture of a dragon on this plane. And excuse the language now, but Assam is spelled A-S-S-O-M. So what somebody had done was put this big thing down the side, M-Y, ass, A-S-S, hyphen, A-M, dragon, D-R-A-G, I think it's spelled it with 2 G, D-R-A-G-G-I-N, in the picture of a dragon. So you look and see this dragon, you look at it and say, "My ass am dragon." And that's about the way it was. I have pictures of all it, and I never know what happened to all this stuff. It was a shame, because I think about that now.
Yeah, yeah.
And try to smile to myself on it.
You have pictures, they're up there.
Oh, yeah.
Was it one plane? Was it one of the bombers? Or was
Yeah,
it,
one of the bombers, yeah.
What was that, a B-17?
B-24.
B-24. That was pretty big, wasn't it?
Yeah.
B-24
Oh,
was
yeah.
big.
Yeah, had a big array, because that's what I used to use. I was a radar man, and radar had just been introduced into being useful. You know, we would drag for convoys in the ocean. You know, we'd cross over, you know, we were down in the lower part, we could cross over Singapore and that kind of thing. Or in the Bay of India, which is a big body of water, you know, for Japanese shipping on it. And the only trouble was that radar was so new and it didn't work most of the time.
Hmm.
And so the captains said, well, I'm not going to go out there on this thing doesn't work, you know, you just go out and fly around. And so we never got to use it much.
Hmm.
So that's how I got to come back to the States, because number one, the equipment they had there was the initial one. It didn't work very good. And they were just beginning to deploy B-29s to the Pacific Theater. To my knowledge, they never used those over in Europe, because they had much wider range and they could cover more bases, Japanese bases in the Pacific, you know, because there were a lot of Japanese bases on these little islands all around.
Mhm.
And so I got sent back to the States and sent to Topeka, where I met her, to train on the new radar equipment that would go into the B-29s. And so I used to be on a check flight crew out of the base I was at there, checking. We'd get the plane right out of the Wichita, Kansas assembly line, and we'd take it out and check flight it for 2 hours. I would check flight the radar equipment, and he had another guy who would check the gunnery stuff, and another one to check the communicate radios and this kind of thing. And so we'd go out for a 2-hour test flight and come back and write them up, and then the crews would come in and pick them up and fly them to the Pacific. Fly them to California and then on to the Pacific
Wow.
to start their bombing runs over Japan and the other islands. So that's a capsule.
Yeah,
capsule
so
ice,
they used to make the planes in
Wichita.
Kansas, which
Yeah.
I hadn't thought of before. Because we were talking too, I was telling Emily about your transfer out to Norton in the aerospace, you know, space and
Yeah.
missile systems, and about the growth of, you know, aerospace technology in Southern California.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what spurred that in Southern California.
Yeah.
I always thought that's where a lot of those planes were built back then, and then it just grew.
Well, I'm not sure whether, probably Long Beach area type thing, but said they did have a plant in Wichita, which is the ones that we used to get to flight test on.
Yeah.
But everything was 2 hours, that was it. You know, you had to do your job in 2 hours on it.
Passed it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about I was trying to tell her about your transfer from when you were at Norton and then going to El Segundo and doing the commute
Oh,
from, would you get up, drive down to Norton and catch a bus, right? They took you into El Segundo every
no,
day
just
for a
catch a
while?
plane.
Was it a plane?
Yeah. Initially, when the move was first initiated on it, we'd fly from Norton to LAX.
Wow, well, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. And then later on, when we got into they terminated that real quick because, you know, that was really because that's where I had one of the diciest times in my life was coming home. We took off from LAX to fly to Norton. And we get off the ground, and I don't know what went wrong, but the pilot said, we've got to land, we've got to land. And boy, they turn around and come back. I'm looking out the window, and I see the fire trucks roaring up along the runways and what have you. And something went wrong up front, and they turned around, and they had an emergency landing back at LAX. So I got off the plane and sat around for about 3 hours till I could get another plane in. But,
Now they have retirement homes on that, where the base was.
Yeah.
don't they?
Really, El Segundo Air Force Base?
yeah, no,
The mail, that's
Oh,
a
oh.
place to retire and, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
things like we've been looking into, but they're on the base now.
so,
I mean, at Norton.
yeah.
Norton Air Force Base is like a retirement, I mean, it's,
Well,
Isn't it?
that's March. Yeah, March is,
Oh, I thought that mail we got the other day, and all the people were so happy there, the
Yeah, that's March.
retirees.
that's March,
Oh.
not March. I see that, yeah.
So sure it was Norton.
I wouldn't be interested in that because it's mostly retired military. They're very cliquish. Really.
then you started riding the bus, right? That was-
Yeah, that was the van pool. Because the van pool, well, sometimes it wasn't that bad because you climb on there and go to sleep. You weren't driving, so
Yeah.
you grab a seat in the back and put the seat back and sleep.
Well, and at some point you caught a bus right there in Grand Terrace, wasn't there something out of
Yeah,
Stater
that's where I
Brothers?
that's where we used to
Oh,
get
that
the
was-
van.
The van pool?
Yeah, down in that little shopping center, Stater Brothers and
Yeah, yeah,
pizza place, yeah.
yeah.
That was the place where the cops seized me one morning down there. I used to walk down from the house, down to the parking lot and stand there and wait. And every morning, there would be two dogs that would accost me. They used to hassle me every morning. I used to be walking down there about, it was really early, I can't think what, because I used to get up about 4 or 4:30 to, I'd be walking down the street backwards with a stick, keeping these dogs off. And when I get down to the parking lot, I'd put the stick in the weeds and I'd pick the stick up when I came home. So this one morning, I get down there and next thing I know, this patrol car kind of zooms up to me and the cop gets out and he doesn't come around. He's got the car parked and he's standing behind the hood of the car talking to me over the hood. And you want to know what's going on, what are you doing? And I said, what do you mean, what am I doing? I was, same thing I do every day, I catch a ride here. And finally what he told me was that somebody called in and talked about some guy walking down the street with a stick. And they wanted to turn it in to find, they couldn't figure out why a guy was walking down the street
There's
at
a thug out
4:30 in the
there.
morning with a stick.
Yeah, didn't have
So-
any no-leash laws.
Yeah. And so finally I went over, and he said, my stick's right over there, you want to see it? And then about that time, another car drives up, and it's two plainclothes guys. And they sort of park off to the side and just listen to the conversation between the uniform. And finally, everybody takes off. But,
Grand Terrace, man, it happened.
yeah.
I didn't know they even had cops there.
Yeah, I did. That surprised me. But somebody called up about some maniac walking through the neighborhood carrying a stick, fighting the dogs or something. I don't know.
Oh, God.
Because that was before, well, I don't know. I guess like around here, you can't let a dog loose around here.
No, same with I,
So there, these two dogs are loose every morning.
yeah. Yeah, dogs used to roam free. Ralph used to roam and
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
far and wide. Bring home
that
the
would
chickens.
scare me to death. I see dogs just roaming around on their own, and you never know.
Probably don't have it here as much as you do up in some of our areas, the rougher areas of Barrie, those guys with the pit bulls.
Oh, yeah.
I saw one the other day. Where was I? I was in, I forget where I was, up in San Francisco or something. And yeah, I had kind of a rough character with that pit bull. I was probably jogging because I run through the streets a lot. But yeah, I see those guys with the pit bulls on, even though they're on a leash, and you kind of, things are known to just jump out and
Yeah.
take a bite out of you.
Not to change the subject, but does anybody, I have a box out there about this high. Those, I don't know how far back it goes, probably since we've lived here, of newspapers, of historic things that happened, and wars and earthquakes and everything else, elections. But I've just been wanting to, I think Sandy told me once, oh, say that's papers. I want to have those. And ask her now. She said, no, she doesn't want to do that. So I'm about ready to pitch them. There's so many. I mean, it's a pretty tall box, about
How far back do you
20, Well, I didn't know it was 20 years. I think I have a little note in there, but I don't know if it's worth saving. About ready to put it in the trash. The
I
whole,
might take a look at it. I keep a lot of stuff like that too.
you do?
I keep like the magazines, more like the Time magazine of when like 9/11 happened and certain
Oh,
big
yeah.
things like the earthquake in SF. I've got, depending on, because they always have photos and stuff, so.
Hmm.
But yeah, you're right, and I don't know about the importance of it with how everything's archived on the internet now, so.
Oh, yeah. I've read where that kind of stuff is no value anymore. Because they have copies of it everywhere, and I don't know.
Although I did drag out last weekend, pulled out my turntable,
Oh,
which these guys had never seen really. They'd seen a record, but they'd never really seen the turntable hooked into the stereo. And so I had to pull the turntable out and hook it up to our system and dig out my records
Oh,
and put on the records, and watching it, how the songs are on each side. And I had the Beatles album
Is
from
that-
that first Beatles album, and I told them the story of the old blonde record player that we had.
oh,
Do you remember
yeah.
that? You pulled out the drawer and
Yeah.
the phonographs in there. When the Beatles album came out, we played it, and flipped it over, and played it, and flipped it over, and played it, and flipped it over. And after the third time, you came in and said, "All right, guys, I think I've heard enough of that. Can you kind of cool that, or give it a rest or something?"
We have one of those over there, too. In the glass enclosure there.
Do you?
The
Do you have
tall
a
thing.
turntable?
Yeah.
yeah.
It's Sandy's, really. When she lived at the condo, just in this area, she had that in her apartment. But she didn't want it. She'd give it to us. It's been there ever since. Not played once.
Well, like I say, I've had mine stored in the garage since we moved up to Petaluma. That was the first time. I think that was the first time I dragged it out.
You still got the speakers over there too.
She was tempted to take it back, maybe because the kids had never seen turntable or anything. But then she decided, nah. So I don't know. It'll probably go in the giveaway pile.
Reminds me, a couple of weeks ago, we went to, well, I don't know what they call it, at Freedom Village, where they had the music,
Mm-hmm.
the old-time music, or and it was a throwback, because they had this group played there, the songs of our time on it type thing. And I really got a kick out of that. I thought that was great. And I went up to them after they were all through, tell them I really appreciated it, really enjoyed it. Said the only thing is now I'm going to have to go home and climb up on the shelf and pull out my 78s and replay some of the songs that you guys played on, which I wasn't serious about that. But
Yeah, I don't know if we have any of the 70. I've got a few, but remember that your records were around somewhere for a while.
I've got a bunch in the garage yet.
Yeah.
do you remember when we lived up in Grand Terrace around the Christmas Day holidays when we rode on the Tijuana Brass?
Oh yeah.
Herb Alpert and the Tijuana Brass, boy, that was big time stuff to me.
Oh yeah. You don't. Yeah. You shouldn't say.
He's still around. I'm surprised.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, isn't the Herb Alpert Theater at UCLA or something?
Yeah, School of Music.
School of Music. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I read something. He was in some kind of office work, executive type work or some recording company or something. Mentioned his name on it type thing, and I said, "Gee, I hadn't heard."
Well, you don't. You might not remember. Do you remember the Herb Alpert Whipped Cream album?
Yeah.
Yeah. You had three young boys around the house.
Yeah.
If you remember the cover of that. It's a lady kind of with whipped cream just on her, and yeah.
I just remember she was a pretty white dress or
I think
something.
it was all whipped cream.
It was the Lonely Bull, wasn't it? And Tijuana Taxi.
Yeah.
Those were hot
We have
items.
a whole bunch of Herb Albert's
Oh, yeah,
records.
yeah. I know Lori had the same experience with her family on the East Coast. Her Alpert was a big thing there too. I think she might have a couple of those records. I think she may have kept those from her family stock.
That's the furthest we've ever progressed. So,
That was it?
yeah, ask us what a DVD is, and we have no idea. Or anything above that.
CD or whatever? Compact disc? No, that's on, beyond.
Pitiful.
I was trying to tell Emily last night, we're coming into LA Basin, we're right there by UCLA. It was a beautiful night. Couldn't see the basin. I had to click around to find the Dodger game, and I said, yeah, this is that typical, here's that warm Southern California night, and Vin Scully broadcasting on the radio. I said, this takes me back to, I was trying to think of whether he's 90. Is he about your age? Do you recall?
Yeah.
Because I think he just, I thought they said he'd been with the Dodgers 60 years broadcasting, which he started in the mid-50s. He was there with Red Barber,
Red Barber, back on the East Coast.
the Brooklyn Dodgers, and saw Jackie Robinson, and I saw that he just signed up for next year again. He signed to come back, so I was talking about the days of the Saturday night steaks out there in the backyard, and you'd be barbecuing. We'd have that old speaker monitor. It was that intercom system. And
Yeah, that's right.
remember if that house had the intercom system and the little speaker outside with the Dodger game on, and Vinny coming on and saying a very pleasant good evening to everyone, and beautiful summer night there, and if you remember the hot,
I really enjoy him now because he does broadcast a few games now.
Yeah.
And, I really enjoy listening. I said, now, gee, that's the way to listen to a ball game. I mean, he's got you right there on it, and all the other stuff, little stuff he throws in that I just based on his past years on it, and I think is great on it. The Angel announcers, they're okay, but I don't hold my attention like Vinny does on it.
I'd say that's a great thing about the internet now is through my little iPad, I can get the Dodger broadcast. So some days, Sundays, I'm in the backyard if I'm working or cooking or whatever, I can bring it. Vince Scully, I can click on the Dodger broadcast and it brings it right in. So it's kind of, it's a nice thing. I'm surprised he's still hanging in there, but he was telling a story last night. I think she was, I started to laugh because he went off on he was talking about Friday the 13th. Vinny he's doing the game out of one side of his mouth. But he's talking about why Friday the 13th and some cultures, and he's talking about Friday the 13th, and he started talking about the 12. And there was the 12 apostles and 12 days in Islam, and he was saying how 12 was this great number for all these different things across religions, and he said 13 was just sort of if you didn't have 12, 13 was sort of how 13 in some countries in Italy, and he was talking about 13. He goes, okay, I'm not trying to be a smart guy here. I'll get back to the game. I started to laugh because he kind of caught himself drifting too far off of the game. And, said, that's him bringing in a lot of outside knowledge.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, all his little side comments and what have you, the one I enjoy.
Yeah, so he's still going strong. I think because the team turned better, he's probably going to stay on for one more year. If it would have been the dregs, he may have opted out. But I think he only does home games and a few road games. He doesn't travel.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't think he travels off the West Coast. I think he does San Francisco and San Diego as road games. I don't think he goes any further than that. Maybe Arizona, but well, that's good. So.
Any hungry on a sandwich or anything?
Yeah, Sandy, did a nice little breakfast for us. It was a little bit later than we thought, but so we got running a little late. But everybody, I think they were waiting for us to get up, and I was waiting for them to get up.
Oh,
We're all waiting to hear someone else get up. I don't want to get up and start stirring them up. I think they were waiting
Oh.
to hear us up. So
huh.
finally, I got up, and then they started coming down. Heard about their nice trip to Ecuador and the jungles.
Sandy was relieved that her colonoscopy is over and went well.
Yeah, that's always good to hear. That's
She's been
Clear.
putting that off for a couple months.
Yeah.
It was